The mysterious disappearance of Earth's seat. The galaxy had long since moved on, as it always did. The Great Council, made up of the most powerful races in the universe, convened every few years to discuss matters of peace, war, and galactic expansion. But one seat in the council hall remained empty, a seat that had once belonged to Earth. For centuries, the Earth had been forgotten, a distant memory in the minds of those who ruled the stars. It was believed that humanity had fallen into obscurity, lost to time, and the destructive forces of war. The galaxy had never truly understood what had happened to Earth. No one had seen a human in over 1,000 years. The mysterious absence of their seat in the Great Council was simply accepted as a sign of humanity's defeat. However, something strange was happening. A sudden, unexplained signal began to emanate from Earth's long-abandoned system. It wasn't a natural phenomenon, nor was it something the galaxy's best minds had ever encountered. It was an energy pulse, one so powerful and unique that even the most advanced civilizations took notice. This pulse came from Earth, a place long thought to be nothing more than a graveyard of ancient ruins. Alien explorers, curious about the source of the signal, were the first to reach Earth's system. They arrived in vast ships, the pride of their respective races. As they entered the system, they expected to find nothing but dust and silence. What they found was far more chilling. The entire Earth system seemed eerily still. The once thriving planet, home to billions of humans, was now empty. No cities, no signs of life. Nothing but the silence of a world that had once been full of energy. The explorers landed on the surface, ready to investigate, but they were met with a shocking sight. The surface of Earth, though barren, was not entirely lifeless. In fact, there were faint signs that something, or someone, had been there recently. Strange, glowing symbols covered the planet's surface. These symbols weren't of any known language in the galaxy. They were ancient, long-forgotten markings that seemed to tell a story of survival, of strength, and of something hidden away for a time when the galaxy would need it most. As the explorers dug deeper into the ruins, they uncovered something that made their blood run cold. A massive structure, buried beneath the Earth's surface, had been activated. This was no ordinary building. It was a fortress, a stronghold of unimaginable power. The explorers realized that Earth had been waiting for a moment when the galaxy would need its strength again. The first sign that Earth was not truly gone came when one of the explorers accidentally triggered a hidden mechanism. A doorway opened in the side of the great structure, revealing a vast hangar. Inside, massive ships, ancient yet still functional, lay dormant, waiting to be activated. The explorers stepped inside, unsure of what they would find. They soon realized that these ships were not of any known design. They were human-made, but far more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. These ships were part of a fleet that had been hidden away for centuries, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, the news spread like wildfire. The absence of Earth's seat, the mysterious signal, and the discovery of the hidden fleet sent shockwaves through the galaxy. No one knew what to make of it. Some believed it was a hoax, a trick to deceive the galaxy into thinking humanity still had power. Others, however, began to suspect something far more terrifying. Was Earth truly lost? Or had it been hiding, waiting for the right moment to return? And if it had been waiting, what was it waiting for? The galaxy's most powerful races began to gather their forces, unsure of how to respond. The old stories about humanity, stories of their incredible resilience and ingenuity, started to resurface. The Great Council had long dismissed these stories as mere legend, but now, with Earth's mysterious reappearance, they couldn't afford to ignore them any longer. In the depths of space, a quiet fear began to grow. A fear that the Earth was not gone, not defeated, and not forgotten. The mysterious disappearance of Earth's seat in the Great Council had only been the beginning of something far more significant. The galaxy's rulers had made a terrible mistake. They had underestimated humanity. And now, The question on everyone's mind was not just where Earth had gone, but what had it become in the time it had been away. As the explorers continued to investigate the ancient human ships, a new message came through the galaxy's communication network. It was a message from Earth, a message that would change everything. The Great Council would soon find out that the empty seat of Earth was not a sign of weakness. It was a sign of something much more terrifying. The Earth was not gone. The Earth was coming back. The galaxy's leaders, though powerful and vast, had never expected Earth to come back into their lives, let alone disrupt the very foundations of the peace they had long enjoyed. The message from Earth that had just come through the galactic communication channels was brief, but terrifying in its simplicity. It was a single line, no grand speeches, no declarations of war, only these words: "We were never gone. We were just waiting." Those words echoed across the galaxy, causing ripples of panic and confusion among the council members. Some tried to dismiss it as a trick, a miscommunication, or a malfunction in the ancient technology. But deep down, all knew that something monumental was happening, something that had been hidden for far too long. Back in the galaxy's most advanced systems, the leaders scrambled to interpret the implications of this message. How could Earth still exist? How could humanity have survived the countless years of isolation and darkness? And what did this cryptic message mean for the galaxy? In the darkest corners of space, rumors began to spread, ones that spoke of the ancient human war machines that had been hidden beneath Earth's surface. Rumors of fleets, battleships capable of shaking entire empires. The thought alone sent chills down the spines of the galactic leaders. Meanwhile, the explorers who had found Earth's abandoned ships were in a state of shock. They could hardly comprehend the scale of what they were seeing. The vast hangars were filled with rows upon rows of ships that had remained untouched for centuries, their engines still humming with a low, powerful pulse. Each ship was a testament to human engineering, sleek, powerful, and advanced far beyond what the galaxy's most sophisticated races could build. One of the explorers, a member of the Karith species, stepped forward, unable to contain their excitement. This is impossible," they muttered under their breath. "These ships are not just advanced. They are legendary. We thought they were only stories." Another explorer, a Zenthian, was visibly shaken. "We have to report this. Earth is no longer the forgotten planet. We are not the only ones who know now." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Whoever controlled these ships would have the power to reshape the galaxy. And if Earth was still capable of mobilizing its hidden fleet, the balance of power would shift in ways unimaginable. But before any further action could be taken, the signal from Earth repeated, this time with more detail. A holographic message projected across the galaxy. It was not a live communication, but an automated broadcast designed to reach every corner of the galaxy. The hologram was a human, a figure dressed in ancient armor, their face calm yet firm, their eyes steely and determined. The voice that came from the hologram was unmistakably human, filled with authority, as though they had spoken these words 1,000 times before. "To those who still believe that Earth is lost, to those who have claimed our seat in the Council as your own, to those who think we are gone forever, we are not your forgotten relics. We are not the fragile species you once thought we were. And we are coming back. We will reclaim what was once ours." The words rang out like a battle cry, and the silence that followed was deafening. The galaxy's most powerful races, from the mechanical Tikarn to the wise and peaceful elves of Voltura, were at a loss for words. The council chamber was filled with whispers and frantic chatter as the full weight of the message began to sink in. Had Earth truly been waiting all this time? And what exactly had humanity been waiting for? As the message concluded, the holographic figure turned, revealing the vast fleet of ships behind them. Hundreds of vessels, gleaming under the light of distant stars, ready to rise again. It was clear that Earth was not just returning. It was preparing for something far greater, something that no one in the galaxy had seen coming. In the midst of the chaos, one voice rose above the rest, An elder member of the council, a creature of immense age and wisdom, stood up. With a slow, deliberate voice, they spoke to the others. It seems that Earth has been playing a much deeper game than we ever imagined. We thought we understood their history, their fate. But what if we were wrong? A murmur ran through the chamber. If Earth was still capable of such power, if humanity had truly been waiting for the right moment to return, then the galaxy was in danger of something it had never before encountered. Humanity, in all its unpredictability, strength, and ingenuity, was coming back to claim its rightful place. The council was divided. Some argued that Earth posed a threat and should be dealt with immediately, while others believed they could try to form an alliance with humanity. But there was one thing that all could agree on: no one knew what to expect next. And that uncertainty, that fear of the unknown, was more terrifying than anything the galaxy had faced in centuries. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the ancient human war machines began to stir. The ships, powered by technology far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen, were coming to life. Their engines hummed with a low, powerful resonance, filling the silent atmosphere with the sound of a long-dormant force awakening. It wasn't just the fleet that was rising again. The humans themselves were ready, and as their empty seat in the Great Council remained unclaimed, the galaxy would soon learn that humanity had never truly left. They had merely been waiting. And now, the universe would have to face the consequences of that wait. What the galaxy didn't realize was that Earth's absence had never been a sign of weakness. It had been a warning that when the time came, humanity would return stronger than ever. And nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The galaxy had not yet fully processed the shock of Earth's message when something even more unexpected happened. It was not just words that were being transmitted. As the holographic figure faded, new signals began to emerge, signals that seemed to carry more weight than any of the galaxy's most advanced technologies could manage. Deep within the heart of Earth's long-abandoned capital, the dormant war machines began to stir. Across the galaxy, far from the bustling centers of power and influence, explorers in far-flung outposts were the first to notice the strange signals. At first, they dismissed it as a glitch, another one of those mysterious cosmic anomalies that would soon be forgotten. But as the signals intensified, as if calling to something buried deep within the stars themselves, a chill ran through the explorers' spines. They knew something was coming, and it wasn't something they could ignore. On Earth, buried beneath layers of dust, debris, and time itself, vast hangars and underground bunkers began to hum with life. Hidden for millennia, these silent, ancient structures that were once home to the proud and powerful fleets of Earth now began to crack open. The ground shook as if the Earth itself was waking from a long, deep slumber. In the stillness of space, where the ancient stars watched in silence, the first ship emerged, a colossal craft, its surface gleaming with an almost unnatural glow, as though it were a living creature, not a machine. Its engines fired, sending shockwaves through space, its energy pulsating as though it had been waiting for centuries to make its mark. One by one, Earth's ships, long thought to be forgotten relics, began to rise into the cosmos. The fleet that had once ruled the stars was now returning, and with it, an eerie sense of dread. The peaceful galaxy, once content with its dominance, was now staring down a fleet that none had expected to see again. The ships weren't the only things that had been waiting, though. On Earth, the long-forgotten descendants of those who had left the planet were now gathering too. They were the children of humanity's most resilient and brilliant minds, the architects of the hidden warships. They were the heirs to a legacy that had been buried long ago, only to resurface now, at a time when the galaxy least expected it. The leaders of the galaxy, those who once ruled over the empty seat, were scrambling. Their long-lost history with Earth was resurfacing, but the details were lost in the sands of time. What they had forgotten, what they had ignored, was now coming to light in the form of Earth's returning fleet. But it was not only Earth's ships that began to awaken. Along with them, something else stirred in the deep, forgotten corners of the galaxy. Hidden ancient structures, long abandoned, began transmitting signals of their own. Something was being activated, and the energy radiating from Earth was unlike anything the galaxy had ever encountered. There was no turning back now. The fleet was in motion. Reports from every corner of the galaxy flooded in. The Zenthian race, once the most formidable in the galaxy, could not hide their panic. They had built empires based on fear of the unknown, and now, the very thing they had feared most was returning. "What is this?" a Zenthian commander exclaimed, staring at the image of the Earth fleet slowly emerging from the darkness of space. The humans, they were nothing. How could they have built this? How could they have hidden it for so long? The Karith, the robotic warriors who had once thought themselves the supreme builders, were also in disbelief. "This cannot be," they murmured. "No civilization can remain hidden for so long. Not even the most advanced beings in the galaxy could accomplish this." Among the galaxy's most enlightened species, the elves of Voltura were deep in consultation. They had always prided themselves on wisdom and patience. But this was different. This was a threat not of armies or weapons, but of humanity's ability to endure, to survive, and to surprise. And as each new report came in, they grew more certain. Earth's fleet was more than just a military force. It was a statement of defiance, a statement that humanity was not done, that they were waiting, watching, and now ready to reclaim what had once been theirs. But there was something deeper, something far more dangerous, that the galaxy had not yet realized. The fleet was only the beginning. Earth's long-forgotten war machines were not just ships. They were powered by an ancient and mysterious energy that, when fully unleashed, could change the entire course of galactic history. A ship from the Earth fleet suddenly transmitted a new message, one that made even the strongest beings tremble. The message was clear. "We are not here to conquer. We are here to reclaim. Prepare for the truth." The galaxy had always assumed that Earth was weak, fragile, and forgotten. But now, the cold truth was emerging. Earth had never been lost. It had merely been waiting for the moment when it would return to its rightful place in the galaxy. And that moment had come. As the ships continued to rise into the stars, the galaxy felt the weight of the unknown pressing upon it. The truth about Earth's power, its secrets, and its future was slowly being uncovered, and the consequences were becoming clear. The galaxy would never be the same again across the galaxy. The events set in motion by Earth's fleet were becoming impossible to ignore. The fleets of the galaxy's dominant species had once filled the skies, reigning supreme over every corner of space. Now, those very skies were trembling beneath the might of humanity's long-forgotten forces. The ships that had once been hidden deep within the heart of Earth's long-abandoned capital were now the focus of every major galactic faction. The question that had once seemed absurd, what terrified the galaxy's rulers, was now at the forefront of every leader's mind. A sense of dread was spreading like wildfire, making even the most seasoned generals pause and reconsider everything they had known about the universe. The galaxy's greatest minds were racing to understand what they were facing, but no one had the answers. Earth's fleet was like nothing they had ever seen before, and it was clear now that Earth had been preparing for something for far longer than anyone could have guessed. In the great halls of the Galactic Council, the leaders were gathering in emergency session. The representatives of the Zenthian Empire, the Karith machines, the elves of Voltura, and countless other species sat in silence, their eyes locked on the holographic display before them. The Earth fleet was still small compared to their own armies, but it wasn't just the size of the fleet that was troubling. It was the quality. The ships, sleek and formidable, seemed to pulse with an unnatural energy, unlike anything the galaxy's finest engineers had ever encountered. Reports were coming in from all corners of the galaxy. Earth's fleet was advancing, steadily and decisively. Yet, despite their best efforts, none could predict what their next move would be. The ships seemed to follow no known patterns of warfare. It was as if they were waiting, observing, choosing the perfect moment to strike. The galaxy's rulers, once so certain of their dominance, were now filled with doubt. Theirs was a galaxy of order and control, built on centuries of careful manipulation and strategic alliances. And yet, here was Earth, an insignificant planet on the edge of the galaxy, with the potential to upend everything they had worked so hard to build. In the midst of this chaos, the fleet's message continued to reverberate through space, echoing in the minds of those who heard it. It was a statement, not of war, but of something far more dangerous. We are not here to conquer. We are here to reclaim. The message was clear. Earth was not interested in ruling the galaxy. No, Earth was determined to recover something that had been lost, something far older, far more powerful than the galaxy had ever realized. The question that had once seemed so simple, what terrified the galaxy's rulers, was now met with a deep, unsettling silence. There was no immediate answer, but the implications of that one message were profound. For centuries, the galaxy's rulers had lived under the false assumption that Earth was nothing more than a distant, forgotten world. They had believed that humanity's reach had been limited to its own tiny corner of the universe, easily overshadowed by more powerful civilizations. But now, as the ships of Earth's fleet continued to rise from the depths of space, the galaxy's greatest minds were starting to understand. Earth had never been small. It had never been weak. The truth was much darker. In the outer regions of the galaxy, where the lights of distant stars barely reached, explorers and adventurers began to uncover the truth behind Earth's forgotten legacy. Deep within the void, hidden beneath layers of cosmic dust, ancient relics were being uncovered, relics that had been buried for millennia, untouched and undisturbed. One such relic was discovered on the desolate world of Tyros IV. A massive structure, buried beneath the planet's surface, had remained dormant for eons. It was unlike any known technology. It pulsed with an ancient, almost sentient energy, its power source impossible to trace. As more and more of these relics were discovered, it became clear. Earth had not only built the ships that now dominated the stars, but it had also constructed the very foundations of galactic technology itself. And then, for reasons unknown, Earth had hidden these technologies, hidden them away for what could only be described as an eternity. The galaxy's leaders were beginning to understand the truth. Earth had once been the greatest power in the universe, and it had vanished, leaving behind a legacy so vast and powerful that it could shake the foundations of everything they had built. But what had caused Earth to disappear? Why had it left its throne empty for so long? And why was it returning now? The answers were as elusive as ever, but one thing was certain. The galaxy had underestimated humanity. The idea that Earth was a weak, insignificant planet was no longer possible to maintain. It wasn't just Earth's fleet that was returning. It was the very essence of what humanity had once been. Fearless, unstoppable, and determined to reclaim its place among the stars. And as the ships continued to rise, carrying with them the ancient power of Earth's forgotten legacy, the galaxy's rulers began to realize that they might have made the gravest mistake of their lives. What they had thought was an empty seat, a place of weakness and absence, was now the greatest threat to the galaxy's future. Earth's vacant seat was not empty at all. It had been waiting for something, waiting for the day when humanity would return, stronger than ever. And that day had come. As the galaxy's most powerful factions gathered around their communication devices, their minds raced to comprehend the events unfolding before them. Earth's ships were unlike anything they had ever encountered, but it wasn't just their technology that had everyone on edge. There was something else, something far more terrifying. It was the sudden reawakening of an ancient power that had been buried deep within the planet's core. No one knew how or why, but the very fabric of the galaxy seemed to tremble in the wake of Earth's return. The first major sign of this rebirth came from the neutral zone, a barren stretch of space where only the bravest of travelers dared to venture. The territory was shared by many factions, but no one had ever truly claimed it. It was a place of quiet, peaceful silence. Until now. Suddenly, in the middle of this vast, empty stretch of space, a faint signal emerged. It was a simple pattern, composed of 3 distinct pulses, followed by a break, then 3 more pulses, repeated over and over again. The signal carried no known frequency, no recognizable language, and yet, its structure was unmistakable. It was a message. The galactic powers immediately scrambled to decode it, sending their best teams of cryptographers and scholars to analyze the strange transmission. After what felt like an eternity of futile attempts, one of the lesser-known factions, the Arcturian scholars, finally cracked the code. The message was a simple command: return to Earth. At first, it seemed like a strange, cryptic request, but as the message was broadcasted across the galaxy, something else began to happen. A powerful, nearly unexplainable force radiated from Earth, pulsing through space. It was like an invisible hand, gripping the hearts of every leader, every warrior, every strategist across the galaxy. The message was not just a call, it was a summons. Earth wasn't just asking for attention. Earth was demanding it. The response from the galaxy was swift. Fear and confusion quickly turned into action. The massive fleets of the galaxy's rulers began to mobilize, retreating to their strongholds. The idea of facing a threat that had remained hidden for millennia was too great a risk to ignore. But even as they tried to distance themselves, a realization began to creep into their minds. The universe had changed. The balance of power had shifted in ways they could not understand, and Earth was at the center of it. Back on Earth, the planet's true leaders, those who had been silently guiding the course of events for centuries, were watching. They knew that the galaxy would soon begin to react, but they had expected no less. They had spent lifetimes preparing for this moment. Now was the time for humanity to rise again. Deep beneath the surface of the Earth, in an underground facility lost to time, a team of scientists and engineers were working tirelessly to restore the ancient machinery that powered the vast fleet. These machines, once thought to be nothing more than legends, were now coming to life. The hum of ancient engines filled the chamber, the sound reverberating throughout the hidden halls. The machines had been dormant for eons, but now they stirred with a power that was unmistakably human. The Earth's fleet, a collection of ships so advanced they defied all understanding, began to emerge from their hidden places, slowly at first, then with growing speed. Each ship, once concealed beneath miles of solid rock and buried beneath layers of time, now rose into the skies with an unstoppable force. The fleet was small, but it was growing larger every day, and every ship that emerged brought with it the weight of humanity's forgotten power. It wasn't just the ships that were returning, though. The long-lost knowledge of Earth's ancients was beginning to surface. Forgotten archives, hidden libraries, and lost technologies were slowly coming to light. Each discovery was a key, unlocking the mystery of what had once made Earth the most powerful force in the galaxy. The galaxy's rulers, who had once laughed at the idea of Earth being a threat, were now staring into the face of humanity's past. Their greatest fear was taking shape before their very eyes. As the ships continued to rise, one by one, they sent a powerful signal throughout the galaxy. Humanity was not gone. Humanity had simply been waiting for the right moment to return. The galaxy's dominant powers had long ago believed that Earth's people had been wiped out in some great cataclysm. Some even thought Earth was nothing more than a myth. But now, the reality was undeniable. Earth's people had never been wiped out. They had merely hidden themselves away, preparing for a time when the galaxy would need them most. And that time had come. In the days that followed, the galaxy's leaders tried desperately to understand the full scope of Earth's power. The fleets, now fully assembled, moved into positions near the neutral zone. The sight of so many ships, once thought to be myths, was enough to send shivers down the spines of even the bravest warriors. These ships weren't just powerful, they were ancient, filled with knowledge and technology far beyond what the galaxy had ever seen. But Earth's fleet wasn't just about firepower. It was about something deeper. It was about the hidden truth that had been buried for so long. Earth wasn't just returning to reclaim its place among the stars. It was returning to share its knowledge, to show the galaxy what had been lost, and to remind them that humanity had never been weak. They had merely chosen to wait. And now that the galaxy was on the brink of chaos, Earth was ready to teach them all just how powerful humanity truly was. The galaxy's rulers, once so certain of their dominance, now found themselves in a position of fear. They had no idea what Earth would do next, but they knew that the return of humanity would change everything. As Earth's ancient fleet continued to emerge from its hidden sanctuary, a new wave of tension rippled through the galaxy. No longer was it just a whisper in the void, a myth, or a forgotten legend. The rising fleet had become a beacon of undeniable truth. The galaxy's rulers, who once regarded Earth as insignificant, now found themselves in a nightmare they could not escape. In the heart of the galaxy, the Great Galactic Council convened in a state of panic. Leaders, generals, and tacticians from every major faction gathered in a vast chamber, each face grim with uncertainty. The message from Earth was clear. Return to Earth, the enigmatic command that had set the galaxy on edge. And now, the fleets, once thought to be mere folklore, were real. But what terrified them the most was not the ships themselves. It was the power behind them. "We were wrong," said the Velar ambassador, his voice shaking. "We believed Earth was a relic of a bygone age, lost to time and conflict. But now they rise. They rise with an ancient power we cannot comprehend." The room fell silent. The implications of this were far greater than anyone had anticipated. Earth was no longer a forgotten planet. It had become the center of the galaxy's focus. Its ancient fleet, its technologies, and its mysterious leadership were all tied to something far older than anyone had suspected, something that none of the galactic powers had ever dared to understand. As the Council argued over how to respond to Earth's sudden return, a different kind of message was unfolding. The massive ships now hovered just outside the neutral zone, their silent presence speaking louder than any words. No one dared approach, no one dared challenge them. Their appearance was a statement, an undeniable declaration that Earth was back, and it was ready to claim its place among the stars. In the distant fringes of the galaxy, far beyond the reach of the Council, a quiet figure watched this unfolding drama from the shadows. He had known this day would come. His name was Arian, a man whose ties to Earth were older than most even realized. Unlike the other galactic leaders, who were caught in the frenzy of fear and speculation, Arian remained calm. He knew the truth. Earth had always been a sleeping giant, waiting for the galaxy to slip into chaos before it would reemerge and restore balance. And balance was what the galaxy needed. For far too long, the power struggles among the various factions had led to stagnation. Endless wars, futile alliances, and the growing dominance of a few key players had left the galaxy in a state of imbalance. Now, Earth was returning to restore order. But this restoration wouldn't come without its challenges. Back on Earth, the hidden leaders, the ancient figures who had kept the planet's true power veiled for centuries, were preparing for their first move. They knew the galaxy was afraid, but fear would not be enough to drive the galaxy's rulers into submission. They needed a reason to unite, a reason to understand that humanity was not returning to conquer, but to lead. The fleet commanders, each one a descendant of the first great human explorers, were tasked with preparing the ships for what was to come. They were ready to showcase the unparalleled technology and knowledge Earth had accumulated. But they also understood the importance of diplomacy. The galaxy could not be forced into submission. It had to be shown a vision of unity, one where humanity played a central role in the galaxy's future. The most significant aspect of this new phase, however, was the discovery of Earth's hidden archives. Vast repositories of knowledge, tucked away in ancient, impenetrable vaults, began to be unlocked. These archives, believed to be nothing more than myth, contained blueprints for technologies that were beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Earth's ability to manipulate energy, bend the fabric of space itself, and create advanced weaponry was only the tip of the iceberg. But there was something more to these archives than just technology. There were philosophical teachings, writings, and concepts that challenged the very core of galactic rule. Humanity had once been a society divided, plagued by endless conflict. But now, it was united, not by force, but by shared wisdom and a deep understanding of the universe. And it was this wisdom that the galaxy's rulers could not ignore. Earth was not just a threat. It was an answer to the galaxy's fractured state. Its leaders were not warmongers but healers. The galaxy needed a change, and Earth's ancient knowledge was the key to restoring it. As the fleet continued its march across the stars, a new question began to emerge among the galactic leaders. How would they respond? Could they ignore the rising power of Earth and risk being left behind in a new era? Or would they have the courage to embrace it and seek peace? Arian, the quiet observer in the shadows, knew that this was the turning point. The galaxy's rulers would have to choose: to stand alone in their fear and stubbornness, or to stand with Earth and forge a new path forward. And though the path ahead was unclear, one thing was certain: humanity would no longer be hidden. It would no longer wait for the galaxy to catch up. Earth had returned, and the future of the galaxy would be shaped by its influence. The tension in the galaxy had reached a breaking point. The once vast expanse of space that had been ruled by countless factions, each maintaining its own power, was now on the brink of something much more significant. As Earth's fleet continued its advance, it was not just a military force. It was a message to the galaxy's rulers, to the rebels, to the quiet colonies on distant planets. The message was clear: the age of division is over. A new era begins. The Galactic Council, now divided more than ever, convened in an emergency meeting. There was no more room for argument. The decision was no longer about whether they could ignore Earth. It was about how to react to the undeniable fact that Earth's return would change everything. The decision could lead to peace, or it could lead to a galaxy-wide war. "I've never seen anything like it," the Crestar General, Zorath, growled. His sharp eyes flickered to the holographic display of Earth's fleet moving steadily through space. The once unfathomable power of Earth was now a very real threat. The humans have always been unpredictable, but this is something else. Their fleet, their technology, it defies everything we know. The council chamber was silent, each leader processing the implications. The reality was settling in. Earth was no longer a forgotten planet. It was the catalyst for an inevitable transformation, one that could reshape the galaxy's very foundations. The High Commander of the Galactic Alliance, a once untouchable figure, now stood with his back to the room, his eyes lost in thought. He had seen the truth of Earth's return, the devastatingly advanced fleets, the strange powers emerging from hidden archives, and the sheer determination of the human spirit. His mind raced with calculations. Could they stop Earth's rise? Should they even try? Zorath's voice broke through his thoughts. "We could crush them. Their fleet is impressive, but it's not invincible. We've fought and won against more formidable foes." His words were bold, but there was an undercurrent of doubt in them. He had known war his whole life, but this was different. This was not a war for dominance. It was a war for survival. The room fell into a hushed murmur. Some of the council members nodded in agreement, their faces hard with the familiar glint of pride. But others were less certain. There was fear in the air. They had underestimated Earth once before, and now they were facing the consequences. Finally, the Valar ambassador, the one who had first raised the alarm about Earth's return, spoke again. This time, his voice lacked its usual authority. "Perhaps we are looking at this all wrong. If Earth had wanted to destroy us, it could have done so already. The fleet, the technology, it's not just about power. It's about something greater." The room fell silent again. The Valar's words had struck a chord. This was not just about a clash of armies. It was about something far deeper. Earth had the power to annihilate every faction in the galaxy, but it had not. It was choosing a different path, one that the galaxy had yet to fully understand. As the silence stretched, the hologram of Earth flickered, its ships now looming closer. No longer a vague presence on the edge of the galaxy, it was now an undeniable force, its message echoing across the stars. The humans were not here to conquer. They were here to lead, to restore a broken galaxy to its true potential. And with that realization came the ultimate question. Would the galaxy's rulers embrace Earth's offer, or would they try to fight it? Back on Earth, the leaders of the ancient fleet were preparing for the most crucial moment of their entire campaign. They had made their intentions clear through the silent, steady advance of their ships. They had shown their power, their wisdom, and their knowledge. Now, it was time to make their final offer. The holographic presence of Earth's leader, a figure cloaked in the shadows of humanity's past, was broadcast across every major galactic channel. His voice resonated with a calm authority, a deep knowing that had been forged through centuries of isolation. This is not a war of destruction, his voice echoed across the galaxy. This is a chance for us all to rebuild. For too long, the galaxy has been divided, consumed by conflict. But there is another way. We, the children of Earth, offer you a chance to join us in creating a united galaxy, a galaxy where knowledge, wisdom, and progress replace war and division. The message was received with shock and awe, but also with disbelief. Was this really what Earth wanted? To build something greater than what had already existed, to lead the galaxy not through force, but through unity. We will give you a choice, the leader's voice continued. Join us, or face the consequences of remaining divided. We are not here to take control. We are here to help you see what is possible when the galaxy works together. The choice is yours. The message was broadcast to every corner of the galaxy, and the response was immediate. Leaders, commanders, and citizens alike began to whisper about the future. Some saw hope. Others saw an impossible challenge. But the choice was clear. Either accept Earth's offer and join in building a new future, or continue the old ways and risk destruction at the hands of the ancient power that was humanity's fleet. As the fleet's final approach drew near, the galaxy's rulers faced a choice that would decide the fate of everything. Would they embrace the new galaxy Earth was offering, or would they face the firestorm of humanity's power? The stakes had never been higher. The choice between peace and destruction was now in their hands. The galaxy stood at the edge of a new era, and only time would reveal what path the future would take.